a
We'll have to cut that one off. So, FPX sucker punched JDG in game 1.
Yes.
It was a victory which I think JDG think they would have had in hand after that early game. Now going into game 2, what will be the difference? A lot of the same bans, but the Karma off the table this time from FPX. JDG have moved over the blue side, and now we have potentially missing picking up the Ashe. He's played this an awful lot. Lane dominance for JDG, a real threat now for them.
And that's the shift, because last game it was the Ashe that was banned on red side, and then the Karma got first pick. FPX prioritized dealing with the Karma, and they immediately lock Varus Rumble.
So, Life has been a Rumble support player. Have to put that one out there. He has done work on this pick. I think he's 2-0 on the pick so far this split, and he's had it banned away from him a number of other times. So, what's the plan here from Rural and Missing? You're looking for lane dominance. You have to fist fight this now. There's no other way out of this. The Varus and the Rumble, so nasty, and they go for the Callista. I think other lanes, I'd sit here and go, oh boy, that wouldn't work, but this one's going to fist fight. Yagao locks in Ahri, looking for early pressure in mid lane to then hopefully roam down towards bot lane at level 6. Yagao's had a bit of an awkward split on a lot of picks. I've actually liked his Ahri when he showed it the last time, though.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that last game that Talira went 0-2-1, I think it was just not involved. It was not what you wanted to see when you've locked in the combo you did. Okay, so see some more out of it. The Annie locked in.
So we're going to have ourselves, I'm going to give this one for free. We have the Care Bear ultimate from Tibbers in the mid lane. But the thing is, the last time that we saw Care play this, it was kind of crap. He missed a lot of sitting ultimates, but it can really help in terms of shutting down the Ahri in some points. Our Annie has been nerfed a lot, and with Ahri getting some more mid-game HP, it's not as bad a matchup for Ahri as it was last year. And even then, the best Ahri players in the world were making the most of this matchup. Yagao was very comfortable on this pick last year. Even though he struggled as an individual player, this champion in this matchup, I think, is more likely for him to succeed on than others which he struggled in.
Jax Udyr bans on the side of FPX. Milky Way's champion last game, who had actually a very solid game on the Jax wall. He wasn't the star carry for once. On the other side, bans against Milky Way, the Graves. Don't want to give him that one. The Kindred's already gone. Yep. Some of those big AD carry, farming carries off the table. And
also the Graves ultimate, if you already had the Varus ult or the Annie ult, would just be huge AoE teamfight burst. You're looking for something that can help with the wombo. So now what are you going to get here from Milky Way? Now, he's not going towards the straight carry option, but his Shinzo has been very good at bot lane 3v3ing. And when you see the Varus Rumble versus the Callista Ashe, you need something that can get down there early. Now, if Kanavi goes towards the Vi, once you hit level 3, great, awesome. You can get towards that and affect it well. You have the Vi Ahri combination. I expect this to be locked in, but your level 1 and level 2 are at potential at being a little bit overrun because Vi is not very good at those levels. It's locked in. I think the bot side 3v3 is absolutely where all eyes are, but I wonder if there's a level 1-2 plan from FPX.
The gloves are off, but considering Vi's in the game, the gloves are well.
The gloves are on. They've been kitted up. The gloves are metal.
The gloves are off and the gauntlets are on. There we go. Perhaps that's the way to phrase it. Flandre debating his options. It will have to be a blind pick. Still worth noting that, strictly speaking, that Rumble could go top.
I think it potentially could, but honestly, with Life playing it so well, I think there's no reason for you to not do this. Now you're looking at what you can pick for Shallow, who he picks a lot of individual lane pressure champions. It wouldn't surprise me to see him lock in something like that. Nah, which does well into the Renekton on an individual level. It feels like top lane will be an island, and if you have an island where you're slowly eking out an advantage, that can work very well. However, Flandre has been good in the individual lane, so this is going to be a big moment for Shallow, who, to use this pressure he can potentially put out well to give FPX another angle of attack.
We all know how this game works. Anybody who has seen League of Legends drafted in the last couple years know how this one works. You've got Xin Sao and Annie, Ahri and Vi, and you have got two of the most volatile bot lanes which love lane pressure you could ask for. Everyone is turning up bot to the circus, and it is going to be blood sport.
And we have a couple of LCK exports in the LPL facing off again on distant lands. Ruler, Doctor, and Life. I think the fourth player is missing. We don't know what's happening with that one from the LCK, but we have so much. It's a bit of a home away from home scenario, and they have brought all of the early knife fight potential to the table.
You know what they say when it's knife fights? It's quick, it's dirty, and it is lethal. Does perhaps leave our top laners out with a bit of a question that was raised last game from FPX. They said, look, we've locked in the Jace. If you don't turn up top, this is a free lane, and that should be good, and they didn't end up that way. There was pressure put towards it. There's every scale this time around. I think both teams are just going to leave that lane well and truly alone. There will not be that question asked because the answer is self-evident. bot lane's where we're going.
Talk time on life. Our big question was, can they hold their own? If they bring their A game, maybe there's a chance versus JDG. Turns out there's more than a bloody chance. They took game 1 and it looked good. Life looked fantastic. Back onto his Rumble, his 4th game of this split, currently 2-1, and his 2 wins, he has looked absolutely insane. It looks like JDG, though, they have brought a very different style of composition. Much earlier game comfort for them. Much more ability to snowball the game. They haven't always done that as they head onto the Rift. FPX, they cannot afford to miss a step like they did in the early game last time.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but obviously the combos from JDG look great. They all make sense on paper. But I'm looking at the other side and I'm thinking, how hard is it going to be for Ruler to play out some of these skirmishes and fight? Because there's a lot of, like, very scary things that can deal with a Kalista that's quite short range and vulnerable to CC and burn.
Well, we did see in the Genji T1 series yesterday that, well, not yesterday, we're doing... No, it would have, no. It was, yeah, 2 days ago, that one. 2 days ago, we saw that actually Pays went towards a lethality Kalista to max Q and not have to deal with the low range threat. Now, you have the cleanse in this game anyway. I think that I trust Ruler to find himself in an interesting, kind of like, to find himself in the safest spot he can. I just want to put that on the table because I haven't seen much lethality Kalista outside of that. We used to see, of course, the, like, the Sanguine Blade Kalista top lane.
Oh, yeah, that
it's
was
been
Shy's favorite thing.
I just want to throw that out there, just see if something can come of it. See that Shallow who's just sat here just throwing Qs into the bush as Calandria sat there and like, well, I'm not going to let you auto attack me. I was going to not let you get there and let you get your fleet footwork off as well. Milky Way will not be spotted completely on this top side. However, we can see that FPX have not managed to get any wards into the enemy side of the jungle. Kanavi last game in the early clear did an awful lot of work. Let's see what he can do in this early game in the first clear.
Both junglers matching, they're both starting top, they're both passing bot. That should surprise no one. There is a world where both junglers could potentially look for the very early level 3 by skipping some topside camps. Of course, yet to be decided. It might not be the case, as you can see the Shin's now pathing towards the Krugs. On the other side, Vi going towards Gromp. Still allowed for a 3 camp level 3. It's become very... much less common, bluntly, over the last few years. It used to be semi-common, not so much anymore.
So a big thing we said was that level 1 and level 2 kind of bad from Kanavi's Vi, because Vi just can't do anything until you have all of your basic hit, really. Not going to be the case here, though. It feels like no one can really interrupt that one. Brush vision taken by missing. You start with the E on the Rumble, you can get good poke, but it is not enough to deal with the Ruler and missing at the very early levels. Milky Way on vision, so JDG know that they will have a safe phase of laning play. So it's not like Milky Way's coming in for a very, very early level 3 gank, and that works out for JDG.
You can see Milky Way's actually being very circumspect with his pathing, path around the back of the red buff wall towards his base to get good access. And actually a very good trade there from Shallow, who with the early Mega Gnar. But he still gets spotted because, of course, Hawkshot on Ashe is a thing.
Map hacks
so
are a thing.
There's just no way to avoid it. How careful you're being.
There are two champions which are just not fair when it comes to vision. One is Maokai, because he walks into your enemy jungle to put saplings there, so it's like a free ward there for a little while. And then, of course, there's the map hacks of the Hawkshots as well. Life walking up, trying to get some poke. This is the worry that we had, though. Ruler and missing, when they really feel angry in games like this, they put on the early game afterburners and they say, all right, try and keep up with us. And they've locked in the Ashe and the Kalista. Of course, Ruler just misses the Pierce there, which we're not going to talk about as much. But again, let's just see how much FPX can do to survive this. Life has done a good job of hitting a couple of these E's to make sure that Missing's HP is lower than it potentially could be. Kanavi now here for the bot side scuttle, but because the bot lane's been poked out, this could be actually a straight 3v3.
Kanavi gets hit by the wind, becomes lightning. We'll turn that around with the Vault Breaker, but Missing in a dangerous position, has to burn the heal. Kanavi has to flash out. On the other side, Ruler's ready with Dokdam, could well win this one out. The arrow still lands. Dokdam's got to be careful. First blood to Xin Zhao. Missing is about to go missing, and now the posters keep flying. Oh no, JDG! The whole town is in the police station looking for find their missed loved ones. It's a disaster.
3 stars in the constellation of Milky Way. He makes an absolute mess of this bot lane, and all we knew about this game was that it was going to come down to 3v3. Shout out to Life again. Did a really good job of poking down Missing and Ruler, but Ruler misses like 2 or 3 crucial cues on the Kalista in the lead up to that play as well. And FPX, they managed to win the micro. Before all this has happened, look at the HP as everyone else as they come in. Missing, low HP. Life is low as well, but the fact that Missing can't walk up and use his own Halo Blaze to the full extent of it is a huge issue. Then he gets tagged by the second wind becomes lightning in this play, and bot side falls apart.
Dice, nice job with the Vault Breaker. Shallow who goes down. They get something back to JDG necessary after the play bot lane went so catastrophically wrong. And I want to note this as well. Milky Way's the only one who burned Flash. Dockdown and Life still kept both of those in that skirmish, and Ruler are missing every summoner with the exception of a cleanse. That bot lane's not getting easier anytime soon.
No, it's not. And one of the real pain points here is for JDG is that they picked this early game snowball champion Arya in the mid lane who couldn't impact that play at all. The fight happens too early. It's one of the reasons why, we've seen less emphasis on jungle mid as a combo and more about jungle bot lane as a 3v3. Because mid laners can't roam. It's not like the ASOL that could roam at like level 2 like we saw before in Season 6. It's been a long time since then. Life gonna walk up again. There's only a cleanse left.
Oh my days, the burn is brutal. Missing's dead as well, and FPX. How much criticism has this bot lane had?
A hell of a lot. And where were you when JDG, the best laning bot lane in the LPL, got absolutely dumpstered by Dockdown and Life? We have had criticism for both of these players, but Ruler and Missing have been caught flat-footed. This early game from the Rumble support has been absolutely destructive, and Milky Way walking away with a couple of kills and now handing the reins over to his bot lane as well has absolutely totaled this. Two-man Varus, two-man Varus Q, everyone stacking up here to just take all of the damage. FPX's bot lane have come to life.
The overheated Flame Spitter doing unbelievable amounts of damage, and they just set them all on fire. That bot lane is just gone. There's 0-2 on both of them.
Yeah.
That bot lane, what you have drafted for has gone wrong. FPX are the ones with the big lead. Yes, Shallow, who is struggling in the top side, but frankly, that is a minor win for JDG.
Shallow, who has himself the cull, and he's just trying to get himself value. As long as he doesn't get blown out in here, I think it's completely fine. He doesn't have to be the split push win condition in this game now that bot lane is so far ahead. Remember, no summoners here. Life doesn't have flash, but they've stayed too long. Oh, Ruler and Missing, they've missed the memo again.
Ruler might survive, but Missing, there's just nowhere to go. They turn on Ruler, the wind does become lightning. They won't quite get it. They chose perhaps the wrong target there, actually. Missing throws down a fair amount of damage back. Will still be Ruler forced to back away and reset, so he still loses another wave.
I think if the first Electro Harpoon lands from Life, that'll be a kill. Either way, they have to reset. They don't get to complete themselves the crash either. That's the reason they were pushed up. They realized, oh god, what happens if this lane is stuck outside that enemy turret? You can see that the CS advantage is there for them right now, but will it stay that way? Kanavi has level 6. He was not there to defend bot side, but he has himself an ult, and that's a mini gnar.
Vault Breaker comes on through. There comes the Cease and Desist. Flandre slices, dices. Does not have the flash, and the Mega Gnar is coming. I think Shallow can keep going. Milky Way's here. They're way too deep. Over comes Yagao. Lands one. That'll be the reset on the ultimate. Who else is coming? No one as it stands, but actually Care is here. Has got the ultimate to work with. Where is he throwing Tibbers? Straight on top of Yagao's face. Flashes on out, and they do get the kills, but it comes at JDG's relatively heavy cost.
Yeah, that Care Bear is not made of hugs and dreams. It's made of nasty stuff, as Yagao has to flash away from it. Care doesn't get the most value out of that one. Sadly for Yagao, I have to mention this, doesn't have a Dark Seal. Went for the first boots 2 very early on to try and survive against the Nanny. It just kind of sucks that you don't have that snowball potential from him, because JDG need a topside snowball now. There is no time to wait. Your bot lane is already starting to get yourself into a game-losing position. How often do we say that about JDG? Basically never. And now it feels like FPX, everything is in their hands. They lose 1 kill on topside. Shallow, who still goes towards topside himself, though, and he's going to be fine just freezing this wave. JDG, what do you do to come back from this?
Bot lane, where Dockdown was down a fair amount of CS, is right back to even. Still got the kill involvement, absolutely everything. 100% KP right now. Milky Way in Life head into the enemy jungle, and I don't think you win ever a 2v2 there. They're going to flash forward for the Fate's Call. This is the moment they're looking for. They've got the man advantage. Dockdown's got nowhere to go, and Ruler gets something.
Okay, it's an overstep from Dockdown. You can see that Milky Way in Life were in bot jungle. Right, what's happening now? Yagao not able to go down to the roam there as well, and he didn't have himself his an ultimate. He could have used that on top side. So something back. Important there for JDG to not completely bleed out here.
Flash cleanse ult used from Ruler to deal with Dockdown's ultimate. That now leaves Missing dead to right. He's got a flash, but he just can't get far enough away. Flash wind becomes lightning, and they burn so much to kill Dockdown. They have nothing to be safe on the wave.
Oh my gosh, it feels so unfair just having to play against Milky Way. He always finds his way into these lanes, and even against top esports. It felt like FPX managed to tear apart Jackulov and Mako, one of the other best bot lanes in the LPL, because Milky Way on Shinsao went down bot lane and made their life a living hell in early game. This guy has managed to really punish some of the real old and great players of the LPL, and he's not stopping anytime soon.
Old what is it, Wuxia analogy, reference, there are heavens above the heavens and the skies are being sundered by Milky Way, and he's a little higher perhaps than some of these JDG players right now. He's been playing so damn well. Milky Way down to mid lane with Life is here, who's running Hex Flash on Rumble, so we can do plays like this. Over he goes, lands the Electro Harpoon, missing though with level 6 just now, means they won't get anything more. It looked cool, but now Xiaolo, who left out to dry a little bit, but has Mega Gnar coming, Dominus coming.
No one else is coming with him, and Tarek has only just been started. No Mega Gnar here. Dead Gnar under the turret. So JDG, they have said, alright, you can have your bot lane pressure. Let's see how much pressure you can take through the top side of the map. It is very much split gold on split members.
Do you get something there? And Xiaolo's got Mega Gnar an inch away, but the CC chain is impeccable from JDG. They are 9-1 for a reason. They are not to be trifled with, and for all we have been singing Milky Way and FPX and the rest of the team's praises, JDG are not without some bite. Only 700 gold lead. Really isn't all that much in it for all that a lot of the game plan's gone wrong. JDG now turning up in fourth bot side. The arrow goes wide.
That's an important cooldown missed. Missing has typically been very, very accurate with those arrows, but feels like everything's going a bit amiss for JDG today. They couldn't win the team fights last time. Their early game's been stalled out here a little bit too. FPX stacking up a lot of members for what is a very early turret siege, but the dragon has spawned either way. I think they're just trying to pen JDG to their own side of the map, and we get a brief moment to cool down and just chill out a little bit and see what's going to happen after this point. JDG, they're going to give up another dragon. We'll see what flavor of Rift we're on for the second game
of
the series. You like vanilla?
Not really.
No.
Came with the first ice cream flavor that came to mind.
I don't mean, you can't go wrong with vanilla. It's an ocean rift, sadly. I don't exactly know what that would taste like. Sea salt?
Yeah, it's Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Well, we'll see if this one's going to be a broken heart in the bot side.
It's looking a bit spicy and ice cream down here. In comes Annie. Care Bears in. Both bot laners down. These AD carries have just nothing to say about anything in this game.
If this is a Kingdom Hearts, that ruler of that kingdom is feeling very, very sad. This bot lane has been taken to task by FPX. They're going to give up some plates across the rest of the map. But when you pick a Kalista Ashe, you need that to be ahead. The fact that they are now so far behind is a massive, massive worry. Last year in 23, with the huge Golden Road roster of JDG, some teams, like FPX, even with the LWX and roster back then, did punish them by just hyper-ganking Ruler early and seeing if you could ever get off the ground. It feels like JDG, they've sadly fallen prey to that a little once more.
Opportunities, Swifties, tier stacking versus a bargain bucket. I think Ruler should be a Blade of the Rune King shortly. He's got all the components available, nothing else though. And the trade has been Xiaolo, who's poor life, and actually Ker's got to be very careful here. People are about to run into him, but he's managed to recall. No, I said he walked away in time. More people coming. Does not get caught on the OGN recall, as we alluded to in the last game. And then the problem is, right, the gold lead is close enough. It's 1,000-ish gold. The problem is where the gold lead is and what do the compositions say. That gold is irrelevant when you look at the compositions because the bot lane is broken and you drafted to win bot lane.
You did, and I mean, you're still going to have Ashe ults, regardless of how far behind that champion is. Ashe ult into Vi, into Ahri, that can catch someone off. I don't think this game is as easy to close out from FPX, because, let's be honest, JDG's comp last game did one thing. It did it pretty well, because you have the Malphite, and you have everyone else kind of piling on top of that. But even then, once you shut down that one win condition, and that one play pattern, things fall apart with it. This game, you have a lot harder win condition to shut down, or a play pattern to shut down. You can't really shut down arrows hitting you. That's just on missing in yourself. Kind of judging those skill shots. The vision control can help with that. FPX, they're trying to contest once again one of JDG's specialties of this kind of shallow vision. These wards right here, the ones that we're seeing on screen, these can determine the game, because that means that you have advanced notice on an arrow, you have advanced notice on live hex flashing out of a bush on the other side. Both these teams fighting for it. Herald is now up. We can see that there was only one squad of grubs. So much fighting on the bot side meant there was no time for the, as I like to call them, the grubby tubbies. The second episode was not aired today in this game. Now we get ourselves onto Herald.
Is it grubby or telegrubbies?
Either one's fine. I think we'll have to bring that one to the network. Docdam has flash, has ult, might be able to catch someone. He's off of vision. JDG, be careful.
Channel's changing very swiftly here. It's looking like some late night horror reruns right now for JDG. People jumping over walls and shocking them out of nowhere. And it will be no jump scares this time around. Herald secured, and JDG, they fought their way back from positions like this before. They are a consummate team of professionals and very talented players.
Especially in the LPL. This team is very hard to get under the skin of. You see that the Herald's being charged up. Life is going to be put in here. Is there any chance of a burst? Come on, there goes the arrow.
It's into the charm, but the equalizer after is good. In comes a cease and desist, but Kanavi still can't quite get the kill. It's finally a 1-for-1, but everything burned just to go 1-for-1. Not necessarily what you want.
Yeah, actually everything burned on both sides. The one thing left is the Kalista ultimate. Of course, the top laners were not there, so the turret doesn't fall. If you win that fight as FPX, would have been a lot better. There you go. Well, you would have got the tower afterwards. Either way, you go. Combos up onto the drum, and that's why we're saying it's a little bit hard to shut down that play pattern. If that arrow hits, it's still going to do a lot of damage either. Same ruler. He has cleanse, he has flash. He might shut down either way.
I don't think the cleanse survives. Over the wall he goes. He's going to try and rend his way out, and instead an auto comes on through, and life once again brings death.
Oh my god. Is this really a support? I know that conversation came up with Carrier. It's like, is he actually a support, or is he just another carry? Life on this Rumble has brought that question up here in the LPL. All the same, as well as Ruler. He has had himself a difficult game too. There has been so much pressure put on him on early game, and it hasn't stopped yet. JDG, though, they're going to return to this mid lane to see if they can force another fight. Arrows coming up in another couple of seconds. Ultimate from Kanavi and Yagao. Watch out for those cooldowns as well. Dragon up in 30 seconds. When you can see that without life here, without flash, of course no ultimate for just now, maybe JDG, with their cooldowns coming up, can look to force a fight.
Able to do that. Knockdown's not quite here yet, and that means FPX are going to be the ones that are second into the river. Of course, with the fact that Milky Way is so damn fed, his ability to face check kind of freely, relatively high. He's got himself a Warden's Mail and Steel Captain to quad AD or quad AD damage. Yagao alone, the only person who's realistically going to do some damage, and he's not got that much to his name.
Damage across the board, though, with first items coming in. Should be pretty high nonetheless. It really does feel like this is on execution. Yagao has ult, has flash. He's going to be able to force the arrow. Goes wide, and that's a big cooldown to miss. JDG, they have an ult from Yagao. Kanavi's not quite up. FPX, feels like they've managed to survive one of the big cooldowns, though.
It's an Ocean Rift of Will, so Life just walks back and eats some honey fruit, and he's just fine. Dragon, started by FPX. JDG want to contest. Ruler over the wall is not in this fight right now.
Kanavi charging up that queue. It is a front to back. No flanks on this one. Yagao will be spotted on that flank. They have a honey fruit. Shallow Mega Gnar
does force the Fate's call. Flandre's ultimate about to go down. Care throws down the bear.
Oh my god!
The equalizer damage is brutal. They delete the top jungle of JDG. No longer available to play out this fight. And JDG routed, running to the hills. But FPX are ready to burn and pillage their way to what looks to be a clean 2-0. They will not go quietly into the night. They will claim everything they can. Soul Point, 3 kills, and they can't quite claim Baron because it's just too early.
The Phoenix fancies itself a spot of regicide. It kills the Ruler once more. 2 and 5 on this Kalista. What an AD carry he has been for JDG, but FPX cannot for his pedigree. And they shut him down once more. In this fight, so important once again to note, there is no Ashe ult. Missing has to sidestep, the winds become lightning, but he's put out of position all the same. No value on this Ashe, really. And the combo from Kanavi and Yagao can't really get much going. Great Varus ult to pin the backline in place a little longer. Of course, the damage from the spreading ultimate, nothing to be sniffed at too. JDG have not been able to activate the combo that they want. You know, when we're coming back into live again, you know, we have a 2 and 5 Kalista that's not really got much going for him. Doesn't have summoners either. FPX, they are in such a period of dominance.
They are. Kanavi, this fight. And in fairness to Kanavi, when the bot lane went wrong, immediately went top, tried to find somewhere where he could find some advantages. And yes, Flandre has got a lead. To what avail? What does the Renekton do this game? The Gnar is still useful, and you've got a 7-0-3 Xin Zhao, and the bot side of the map from FPX is just so monstrously strong. A moment to attack Care, maybe, who flashes away, throws down Tibbers. Kanavi has to flash. Flandre with the Dominus trying to get something back. The arrow does land onto Life, who is dead. The turnaround, though, is immediately coming through. Yagao gets over the wall onto Care and gets something here. Is this their moment? Can Jingdong Gaming get something? Milky Way, though, lurking for another wind becomes lightning. Cannot get an audacious charge. Over towards the other side of the river we go as Doctor has to flash, heal away. Shallow going away. It's currently a 2-for-1, and JDG gets something, but Milky Way's back. A crunch, a wallop, a dead Ashe.
Oh my god, these fights are not stopping, but JDG, they have, for once in the LPL, met their match. 9-1. The one series they have lost is to Billy Gaming, the team we expect to be the best team in the LPL. Honestly, before this series, I was considering JDG to be the second best team in the LPL, but FPX, like they've done to so many other teams in this year, are asking questions. Flandre is strong. That's not something that we can contest at this point. While the bot lane fell apart, Flandre got a lot of gold for himself, and that's where things get a little bit awkward. The game, this fight here is not about the bot side of the map. It makes things close, but still, Docdam and the rest of his team just about managing to clean up the scraps of this fight.
And you have to call it, this play from JDG, it's a low percentage play, but that's what they've got left. Credit for trying to make something happen. They start off with a kill advantage. It's still, despite throwing everything at the kitchen sink, a 2 for 2 at best. That's all they get for their efforts. And imagine saying that FPX would out-team fight, out-skirmish JDG.
And there's something just very poetic at the fact that Life is doing it against his once upon a time lane partner of old as well. Ruler and Life, one of those historic Gen G bot lanes of past years. He has really turned up and said, I'm putting the spotlight on myself. Most of this team has been Milky Way for the early split. I think Life has absolutely smacked it out of the park. Milky Way, though, 8-0-4. Talk once again about this LDL prospect. You know, he lost his first Rookie of the Week to Sheer, and it looks like Flandre, the veteran on the roster, getting a kill back.
Is good. Care finally dies, but he's done so much work again. The problem is all of these picks are coming at cost. And now look who has to run away to Kanavi. Where does he go? He's got nowhere to go. Might be able to execute, I guess. Ari shoving in the top side. And credit to JDG, they are at the very least running people around the map. The problem is that Dragon's spawning in under a minute, and Kanavi is having to play Hayakati sacks.
And the problem here is that you can run from FPX, but you can't hide around those dragons, because you can start running them around and say, okay, it's not going to be about Docdam, it's not going to be about Life if we can help her, and if it is, you know, we can maybe make it less about Milky Way as well. But the thing is, Missing can always fire those ults. That does help them. They have kind of like longer range combos. Ari also able to get into these fights a little bit easier too. Yeah. Feels like JDG, if they can kind of play the smoke and mirrors and avoid the 5v5, there is an angle for them. Yeah, it's just, how do you do that when Ocean Soul is coming up in 15 seconds? Can you realistically give that up? I don't think so. I think if you give that over to the Gnar and the Xin Sao, it becomes very, very difficult. But you can't afford to give a game-losing fight either. You might just have to stomach it and say, we can't fight this 5v5.
And how on earth are you supposed to kill this Xin Sao, who's got Frozen Heart second, as a double anemic AD carry bot lane, a Vi and a Renekton? The Xin Sao is so tanky to this comp.
Yeah, it is, and you can't get him off of you either at this point. He's going to be running forward so quickly. Charm onto him. Again, that tankiness coming through nice and strong. Yagao. Oh, he has to blow his ult early. No. Yagao, that's a problem. He really needs to... Do they fight in the duration of the Charm now? They get the combo onto Gnar, but he's mega.
And just gets over the wall, stays alive, and they get a massive amount of damage back onto Kanavi. Milky Way throws down the Crescent Guard. Maybe I've cursed him slightly, but he will flash back out. Goes back in with the wind becomes lightning. Ruler can't quite get the kill. The health bars, though, from JDG, higher than FPX is right now.
But they've used their ultimates, and you've still got Care with this big one, and you've got the life equalizer as well. FPX, they walk away with lower HP, but better tools to fight. Tibbers also stay out on this bot side. JDG think they're just going to lose themselves. The Dragon Missing might even die to the double burn. He just about gets away, and FPX, they don't get themselves a clean fight. They get themselves a bit of a scrappy one, but they get themselves Ocean Soul, and this looks like this could be the game-changing moment where FPX could see themselves over to a 2-0 against one of the very top teams in the LPL. What a scalp this would be to take. Start of this replay, Yagao forced to use his ult early, and that kind of informs the rest of this fight. JDG need to fight before the Ari ult comes out, and it feels like you really need to get something good out of it. But this is really not the situation they want to walk towards. The frontline difference is too huge. Milky Way's Crescent Guard makes it so much easier to play around this, and they can't finish off that kill, whereas Flandre, no such defense.
Every ultimate, double summoners from Ruler, not even a kill. It's so difficult. It's not like JDG haven't tried things this game, but the moment that bot lane 3v3 went as wrong as it did, this game has been triage. It's been straight to the emergency room, and they've just failed to resuscitate this game.
And they get that heart beating once again. They have some limited vision control between Callista Sentinels and Hawk shots, but this is not an easy game. And FPX are one of our very best macro teams in the LPL. They have beaten teams purely on macro when they're behind in games. Now they're ahead. They have a lot of tools. They have an edge of Knight even on Dogdam, so he's much harder to pick off. They have the Ocean Soul. Baron's being started by Milky Way. He can't solo this, can he? I don't think he can. Not with this build. See that? That's a... Oh, Dogdown flashes forward. He's got the kill. Ruler's gone.
Left. He's gone. And that was what JDG have been trying to do. They have had to play wide because they cannot play in the 5 versus 5. And FPX know it. They punish immediately. Ruler burned everything in the last fight. So nothing left.
FPX trying to stop JDG from coming down the front and center. This would have to be a Baron steal and nothing short of it. Kanavi, how can they gatekeep out of it? Flandre walking up, giving vision.
It was supposed to be a close series. It wasn't supposed to be a whitewash. They get one. It's life dead. Kanavi has to back away. Flash wind becomes lightning. Does not land. They are getting something back. And actually, because of the initial kill, FPX cannot claim the Baron. You would think.
I mean, life is... Oh, no, I think that Kanavi is overstayed a little bit. They're going on to Vision. Charm lands. Enough damage. They're looking for it.
He's got Crescent Guard, but watch for Kanavi. He can just kill Milky Way. No, he can't. The Crescent Guard's there. The Sun and Sky healing. They flash to get the kill, but at what cost? It's just a Xin Zhao. It's not anybody valuable in so many ways because you know who's left. It's the Gnar. It's the Varus. It's the death of JDG.
And they try and part the ocean, call him Moses, but it's an ocean soul too strong. And the Red Sea from the red team sees them through to a scrappy victory. 4 dead, only Ruler alive, and he has no hope of trying to end out this game for himself. FPX, it's been a hard-fought last couple of plays. It feels like JDG, they've tried to thread that needle as best they can. But it's so hard. What this replay doesn't show is how little vision JDG are playing with. Ruler tries to get some limited vision control, but he can't keep himself safe. This is where things get interesting, though. Life gets a little bit separated. He gets massively caught out by the Vi-Ori combo beyond this point, and that means that Life can't contribute to this fight. Flandre avoids the Gnar CC entirely as well. This is about as good as you can possibly hope from JDG, and even then, they can't quite end this off. I wonder if they should have just backed off from here, because this is the key moment. Great chunk onto Milky Way. There is a Vi over the wall with Flash, and he just misses it. How disastrous is that? If that Q Flash hits, that is a dead Xin Zhao before he can get that Crescent Guard, and maybe the fight turns.
It's the Molten Shield speed up. He gets an extra step, and he's just wide. That's how close that was, I think.
It is a game of not just inches, but like a tenth of a Teemo. It is so close in these games.
JDG, what a fabulous castle they built last year. Unfortunately, it feels like this year it's built on foundations of sand. You said the tides are rising. That Red Sea's coming in, and FPX looking to shake the foundations of JDG. They were 9-1. This series was supposed to be close. It was supposed to still be JDG winning, and FPX have slapped in the faces of predictions. The damage on the other side, though, gets another kill onto Life. Moments like these, I mean, JDG refused to go down without a fight, however.
Life would love to finally seal off this victory against one of his... Oh, that's a big ult from Dogdam. How much is that going to lead to? Not enough. We calm down once again. JDG, they don't have the vision control. It's very hard for them to play into all of this fog of war. You can see that. FPX grouping towards this top side. They're remembered down, but they still have a lot of combat stats to bring to bear. A lot of gold to bring to bear, and the Ocean Soul keeping them topped up nonetheless. JDG, though, they're trying to use this pick composition to pick off particularly Life. He doesn't have Azonias. He doesn't have the gold income from that. They're trying to now push out some of these extra waves and hold on to this game. Elder in a minute. Can it come down to an Elder flip to see if this series continues or ends in a 2-0? It's looking like it.
Replay again and missing. Finds something. The slow comes on through. Yugao goes over the wall, and he has got a lot of the gold. The problem is, this Ari's had to go things like Morello's. It's utility build. This isn't a carry Ari.
Yeah, so folks, again, housekeeping here. The nature of this scenario is that it is so tense, but when you're looking at these builds as well, Yugao is 5-1. Imagine if he had a Lich Bane. Imagine if he had a Magi as an inventory as well. He didn't have as good he didn't have the early Dark Seal stack for all of them. Maybe you would have lost those stacks either way. But you just have to think and wonder, Yugao, if he had gone less towards the utility and less towards the vegan Ari build, eat a bit more of that meat between your teeth, maybe that could have changed things.
You do understand that someone's got to deal some anti-heal this game, perhaps against all the people who've been so difficult to manage. You feel like you just need the HP, something to manage, but it's come at cost. How do you now carry the game when you're the one with the gold. It's not happening bot lane and JDG.
So often with JDG, it has been about can Ruler carry. He's had a hard time of it, though. This game, every bit of that anvil of FPX has been dropped onto his head. He's been trying his best. He has 2 items, but it's so hard now for him to fight beyond a 2-level disadvantage, and that's another ult landing.
It's brutal. Kanavi just doesn't get to do anything. The Fate's call comes on through, but I think this Fate is a dodgy one indeed. You should have found something better at Lunar New Year, boys, because that one comes out of the shrine and straight into a grave. Yagao has to Spirit Rush away. FPX finds so many members, and they can start to barrel into the base.
No gods, no kings, no Callistas, no rulers apparently either. It is only about the Phoenix. It's only about Shallow, who Milky Way, Care, Dr. and Life, who have forever in this split been punching above their weight. It's not the victory lap right now. The game goes on. They get themselves, however, an inhibitor, and they'll back towards the Elder. If this isn't a death blow, though, I don't know what is. Jingdong Gaming, they have been well and truly put in their place by the upstarts of Fun Plus Phoenix.
Whether they're upstarts anymore, how long will it take before people start to really fear them? JDG have to contend.
Another ult lands! Dogdam!
Yagao flashing alive, but so low. Kanavi cannot get into the pit. Fails to get over the wall. He's dead as well. Now the Elder Dragon about to be secured. JDG scrambling, running. It's fruitless. The game is over. Ruler once again slowed. Shaola, who throws a boulder at his face, and there is nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide. Your kingdom is ashes. It is a handful of dust. T.S. Eliot had it right, and it's scorched into the ground by Fun Plus Phoenix.
JDG, they have been slapped, they have been put in their place with an Elder buff and a numbers advantage. Fun Plus Phoenix show that they are not just the upstart rookies, they're not just the rookie of the split from Milky Way, they are contenders and they are working their way towards the very top of the table. Congratulations to Fun Plus Phoenix with a 2-0 victory over the 3-peat champions of the LPL.
What a series, guys. That was joyful. I had a lot of fun with that.
As did I. I walked in today thinking it could be a 3-game series, but honestly I thought that it would be a bot diff. I thought that Milky Way would be able to maybe get some fun plays here and there, but I didn't think he would have a series like that. The fact that it was a whole team effort against the home crowd of the 2,000-seat arena of JDG's home turf in Beijing, I thought it couldn't be done. I thought that they would be here to show that they were a good team, maybe a top 4 team, but definitely not anything beyond that. But honestly, they showed multiple different styles of games here. You know, they had a comeback victory in game 1 where they overcame a dominant early game from their opponents, from JDG. But this second game, it really felt like they evolved into something again there. The fact that they won this bot side 3v3 with a draft that screen bot side 3v3 against Kanavi, Ruler, and Missing, who dominated last year of LPL. This is a special series, and thank you for joining us for it.
What a great time. And you're right. I think especially for the likes of Dr. and Life, who have been criticized, and in some ways rightly so, they haven't been consistent at the very best. At points, frankly, they've just been bad. This was a standout series. They not only stand toe-to-toe with Ruler and Missing with 2 very different game states, one where they are dived early and are forced to play from behind, another one where they opt into the knife fight and they slit the throats of Ruler and Missing. Yes, the Jin Zhao comes down. Yes, it's a 3v3, but so was Kanavi there as well. You have to play what's in front of you, and they did so with serious class. Hats off to Dr. and Life. That was not an easy game to play. That was not an easy series to play, especially with the weight of attention on them.
It's been a 4-0 day. It's been a fairly quick one, but I've loved every second of it. Folks, if you have enjoyed what you've seen today, we do this on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays when there is no official LPL broadcast. So if you like what we're doing, we'll be on YouTube, we'll be on Twitch as we are today. If you've enjoyed what we've done today, please drop a follow, drop a like. And it makes us feel good, and it helps our numbers go up occasionally. And yeah, thank you for joining us for this. Thank you, Sam. Again, his socials are in the title as well. I know it's my channels that are running right now, but obviously go give him a follow as well.
I'm going to stream myself.
Okay, all right. Well, you go do that, and I'll go send these guys over to you as well.
Fantastic.
And